What's up, YouTube gamers? It's Young Soul back with another video, and I'm here to address the whole what seems to be happening. Xbox fanboys trying to ask for no parity. Okay, basically what we know is cloud computing for Crackdown 3. And you see on the screen, Phil Spencer said he'd love to see third-party publishers and developers take advantage of cloud computing. But Xbox fanboys, PS4 is not holding Xbox One back. There is no law, there's no regulation that says that that third-party developers and publishers need to make a PS4 version of a game. They make a PS4 version of the game because they do not see enough revenue from just Xbox One versions of the game. In other words, if these third-party developers and publishers thought that they would make enough revenue from making just an Xbox One version of the game with cloud computing, if they thought they would sell enough copies of their game to make enough revenue to warrant making the game, they would make the game. This has nothing to do with PS4. The reason why the PS4 versions of games get made is so it can make enough, those third-party developers and publishers will make enough revenue to warrant making the game in the first place. But if you Xbox fanboys didn't just brag about your games and actually went out and bought them as much as you brag about them, you would make enough revenue for these third-party developers and publishers to warrant making the game, regardless of if they made a PS4 version or not. I mean, this is the equivalent of PS4 fans and fanboys looking at all third-party developers and publishers and saying, well, in 2016, you guys need to start making VR versions of all your games. Virtual reality, because you know we're getting Morpheus. They're going to look back and they're going to say, well, if it could sell enough, they would make it. But how many people are going to have VR? They're not sure it's going to sell. So it's the same thing with the Xbox One. Although all the Xbox Ones will be able to cloud compute, the problem is they don't think that they will be able to sell enough versions of an Xbox One game. Because again, I want to reiterate, these third-party developers and publishers are not under any obligation or any steadfast law in the gaming community to make a PS4 version. They just do that to make enough revenue to justify making the game in the first place. If Xbox fanboys bought games at the same rate they bragged about them, then maybe third-party publishers and developers would turn around and be like, hey, let's make the game because we know we'll make enough revenue to justify making it. But as it is right now, sorry Xbox fanboys, there are not enough Xbox owners. There are not enough Xbox purchasers, Xbox One game software purchasers, to justify third-party developers and third-party publishers to make a cloud computing game. Okay, now hey, maybe Microsoft will turn around and give them, the revenue to make up for the losses, to make up for, whatever. Hey, that might happen, but then again, that would end up being Microsoft getting, buying a third party. But the fact is, it's gonna happen very few and far between outside of Microsoft. Now, Microsoft has the money and Microsoft has the incentive to make cloud computing games, even if this Crackdown doesn't end up making them money. Even if it doesn't sell enough to make them money, it's within their best interest because they want to show off what it can do. So, okay, fine. But third-party developers and publishers are not under any obligation to show off what cloud computing can do. They're in the business of trying to make money. And so if Xbox One versions of games don't sell enough to warrant making an Xbox One exclusive without Microsoft's financial backing, then they don't make it. That's all there is to it. It's the same thing for PlayStation. If they don't think it could sell well on PlayStation, just the PlayStation version won't sell well, then they don't, then they won't make it. Then they'll either make it with an Xbox One version, or they don't make the game at all. Okay? So all you Xbox fanboys who are trying to say, no parity, no parity, make the Xbox One version with cloud computing, start buying your games. Start buying your games, and maybe you will. But until you buy your games, keep dreaming. Alright? Tell me what you think in the comment section. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know. Other than that, I'll holler at you later. Peace.